No, strangely enough, at the moment there are no IFRS 15 topics that I am aware of coming to the Interpretations Committee. There have been none so far, and at the moment there is nothing that I am aware of that will be on our agenda for later in the year. What actually happened with IFRS 15 is that the IASB set up a revenue recognition transition group, and a lot of questions were sent into that transition group, and they were discussed publicly in 6 meetings over about a year and a half. And so there's quite a lot of information in the notes of the transition group meetings. As a result of those meetings, the IASB made some changes to the standard that were issued last year. But since the last transition group meeting, there have been no questions that have formally come to the Interpretations Committee. I think when the IASB was setting the standard, its objective was to have a single revenue recognition standard that could apply consistent principles across all industries. So whereas previously I think there was sort of specific revenue recognition guidance that was applied in specific industries, the IASB and the FASB's objectives was to have a consistent principle that would apply across all industries. Having said that, during the course of the development of the standard, the IASB listened to questions, listened to comments, and considered the impact specifically on some industries of the principles that it was developing. But overall, the objective was to have a consistent model that could be applied across industries. No, there won't be any specific IFRS guidance. So the IASB, I think, has been fairly clear that it doesn't want to make any more changes to IFRS 15 or to have any more transition resource group meetings in connection with IFRS 15 until, or not before, the standard is applied. So it gives people a chance to apply it. In the United States, however, the US AICPA is working on some industry accounting guides that reflect the new standards. Now, they won't officially be part of the IFRS framework, but there may be some information in them that is useful to companies that apply IFRS in a particular industry as they think about applying the standard. I think the role of the Interpretations Committee is to be independent, and I'm required to express my own view of the individual issues. I will always talk to anybody that is interested in a particular topic ahead of a meeting so that I consider all of the possible points of view before I develop my own. And so, in connection with a number of topics, I have spoken with particular companies that have an interest. I have spoken with colleagues in my own firm that have an interest. I have spoken with national standard setters or regulators that have an interest. But all of that, I think, is part of excuse me developing my own view, rather than anybody putting particular pressure on me to say one thing or another. So I guess there will be a couple of things to think about. And one of the things that I said this morning is the key step in the process is to identify the performance obligation. So what's been promised to the customer. And there could be a couple of possibilities. So if, for example, a television station commissions a production company to produce a particular film or a particular show, then that may well be the production of that show will be the performance obligation. Then it will be necessary to think about when that performance obligation was satisfied. So does the production company get paid on a sort of by the hour basis, or does it only get paid as a result of finishing it to the satisfaction of the TV station? So that would be one thing that might be considered. How does the production company get paid? For example, is it fixed or is there some sort of variability based on the advertising revenue that it generates for the television station? Who gets to keep the intellectual property? So is the production company licensing that intellectual property, or is it just selling it to the television station so it becomes the property of the television station? So those are the sorts of things that you might want to consider in connection with that type of industry.